Party people, welcome. I am I'm starting a new series basically, and I've been talking with a friend who's starting up his YouTube channel and just talking about sort of strategy and what makes other people successful and what makes other people not successful. And one of the things I've been thinking about is just all of my videos are very long. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a group of diehard people that I love that watch all of my videos and like how long they are and like that I play long games, etc. But there are some other people, myself included, honestly, who can't sit at a computer or do one thing on YouTube for more than 15 minutes at a time. So I know personally when I get home, I eat dinner and I watch YouTube videos while I'm eating, usually just right at my computer desk like I'm doing right now. And while I'm watching a video, I usually cannot pay attention long enough and open up a new YouTube tab while I'm watching the other video to start looking for the next one. And half the time I don't make it through the video that I'm currently on. So I'm doing a new series, and all it is I'm going to show you a random position. Not random, selected by me. And usually it's a position that I've already solved. And you're just going to look at it and try and solve it. And I would encourage you, they're probably going to be not super easy. Like, it's not going to be something you're going to find on the Elite Chess Tactics Trainer, for instance, or in, like, you know, the first chapter of Silman's Reassess Your Chess. They're going to push you a little bit. And it's meant for you to either pause the video and analyze by yourself for 20 minutes, let's say over dinner at your computer desk, or you can do what I do. I love solving things blindfolded, so I look at the position long enough to memorize it, and then as I'm walking around at work or I'm in the shower or I'm falling asleep, I try to analyze it. And this was one that I solved blindfolded on the way home from Florida. And this one's particularly interesting because I solved it, and then I shared it in the Lichess Slack, and someone else solved it with a different move that's unmentioned by the original author that's also winning. So if you want, it's white to move. Take your time, as I said. Come back to this video tomorrow, pause it, whatever, and it's just white to move. I give you nothing else. Good luck. Okay. So, this position. First thing, obviously, is just check the material. You very quickly learn that white is down in exchange, but a quick evaluation shows that black has some pretty serious coordination issues to deal with and a very weak king, and white has some pretty well-placed pieces around black's king. So immediately you should start looking at, checks, captures, threats, those kind of force lines. As far as checks go, there's not particularly much of interest. There's these two checks and this check, and they don't lead to much. You can pretty quickly eliminate those. And something like a capture, there's really only one. Bishop e7, queen e7 is maybe not that compelling. Reason being is that by playing bishop takes g7, queen e7, you allow the queen to defend laterally along the 7th rank. And so, for instance, now white always has to deal with the fact that queen g7 is possible. And of course, white can't trade queens, and you'd be forced to retreat. And so that's probably not working either. Hopefully, the main thing with this study is that it's not a study, it's a game. It's a correspondence game from 1935, in fact. The main thing you have to realize about this position is that if white doesn't do something quickly, he's probably going to be worse, because at some point black is going to play, let's say, queen d8 and allow bishop d7, and then a rook is going to swing over, or the queen is going to, or the bishop is going to swing over to f8. Black will find a way to repulse these pieces and then settle into a material advantage. And the other thing about this position is that white's currently not getting it done with just these three pieces. You have to find a way to include these pieces into the attack. And it's not easy because all of these squares are occupied and or, maybe don't do anything. And hopefully you guys quickly settled into the fact that the e5 sack is a strong resource here for white. Point being is that something like e5 allows the knight to swing into the e4 square. The challenge with e5 is so that you can go e5, and of course something like takes knight e4 is almost immediately decisive. There's a threat of bishop e7, queen e7, knight to f6 check, when the king would have to go to f7. So let's just say I make a random move like b5. There's bishop e7, queen e7, knight f6, king f7, knight d5, and I'm winning the queen. And even worse, after I take here, you can't really take back here because queen g7 lops off this rook as well. So that would be an absolute massacre. And even from the starting position, black is never allowed to play bishop takes g5. Hopefully you realize that because of rook f8 or queen f8, which mates in 1. So black has some problems unraveling. Bishop d7 is impossible because of bishop e7, and bishop takes g5 is impossible because of rook to f8. So actually, one thing you realize is that queen d8 is sort of black's best move in these positions, guarding the f8 square and forcing a resolution of this bishop when bishop d7 would then be possible. This bishop is now guarded, and bishop d7 is possible, and black can get along with his development. Another thing, hopefully, that you guys got to is that if you want to start with 1e5, you need an answer to d5, which stops knight to e4. Any other move really is not particularly good. Like the aforementioned queen d8, white is just in time to go bishop e7, queen e7, and knight e4. And then queen g7 is met by knight f6 check, and again there's this devastating attack along the discovered attack along the f file. So black is practically forced to go d5 here. And then this is kind of the critical moment. Again, so white has gotten this pawn to e5, but he's again one move away from playing queen d8, and white needs to further his attack somehow. And knight d4 doesn't really do anything as far as I can tell. You can go knight d4, and I'll just go queen d8, and if you take here, take here. The introduction of this knight into the d4 squares is not all that relevant. There's no threat to e6, and none of these squares really do anything. So the critical move here is knight to d2, exclam, winning instantly, in fact, because white is ready to invest, in addition to his offered pawn, which hasn't been taken, and the exchange, a knight. So again, queen d8, bishop e7, queen e7, knight, either knight to e4, and takes, and there's just actually no move here. Again, knight to f6 is pretty devastating. A wasted move, again, would lose the queen to knight f6 check, king f7, knight d5, and then knight takes e7 with queen g7 on the cards. And if you try and put the queen on a square that does not lose to a discovery, like let's say queen d8, still guarding the f8 square against mate, and also after this, there's no square that I can discovered check the queen. I think knight d7 is the move that I thought was winning. And king e7, queen g7 mates. King e8 is pretty much forced, but then queen g7 threatens queen f7, threatens queen h8, and again, probably this knight to f6 check is going to win massive amounts of material. So that would also be decisive. Now, the funny thing about this problem is that e5 sort of would jump out at most chess players after a while, and the really tough move to see, I think, is knight d2 when knight to e4 is impossible. But the idea is very simple. You just want to play knight. In this position, I hope a lot of people saw that e5 and knight e4 is the idea, and the real trick is that you can still sack a knight and win. But there's another way to achieve this same exact idea, and massive bonus points to anyone who found this. I did not consider this idea. Shout out to Boss Potato in the Lee Chess staff Slack who found knight to c5. And the idea is exactly the same. You're just sacking the knight for the d pawn in a different way. So, and lining up knight e4 with two knights in a much more aesthetically pleasing and beautiful way. So if black goes d takes c5, there's e5 now, and queen e5, bishop e7 loses pretty much everything. So that's not capturable. Again, bishop g5, rook f8, and queen d7 would give us a position that's almost identical to what we had before after just this. And again, queen g7 is one move too slow. There's going to be all kinds of discovered attacks, and white will win the queen actually in this position. There are other options, of course. Queen d8 immediately loses to takes e5. Is that it? Yeah, let me check. I forgot to check this line. Takes e5. If takes, then knight e4 is the same. If d5, then knight e4 is again the same. Just you're getting this in. Takes, and I'm winning. And the thing I'm curious about is if he goes queen g7. I would guess that just taking on d6, taking on g7, taking on d6 is just good. No. Oh, that's right. I did look at this. There's this extremely long line. Queen h4, threatening this check. G5, queen h5, threatening this check. Queen g6, queen to f3, threatening this check. King g7 takes here. And white has the threat of d7 and God, who the hell knows what else. This is one of the reasons why it's hard to find this move. Queen g7 here, I think, would have stumped me even if I got this far. I'll clean up the analysis and add it to the study for that one. But the key idea is just going e5 and then getting a knight to e4. So, okay, I am running out of time here. I'm in time pressure to keep this video manageably short. The other ones won't have the intro to this sort of quick video format. I don't know what I'm calling it yet. I'll find a name. If anyone has any fun pun names for quick puzzle videos, let me know, because I like puns and I would be very happy to adopt it. In any case, I hope you liked it. I will be back with more of these. Obviously, the quick format allows me to post a lot more of these. I already have a couple positions lined up that I'm ready to chuck in, so expect another one or two of these through the weekend, I would say, and through the week. And I will be back. Bye, guys.